Good evening and welcome. I'm Alfonso Z, and so right here to the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio to welcome to this evening talking point right here to right now. Very shortly, my group. We're going to be having a conversation wherever you are in Liberia, right here in the USA. Welcome. Well, that's the sound of Ambassador Maron Cassell making a contribution right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio, and LPR-TV. This is a very beautiful, inspirational gospel song from our Liberian friends from the southeastern side of Sino County, Greenville. So welcome, thank you. Very shortly, we're going to get this program going. In the meantime, this is how we do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me take you to neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire in the interest of African solidarity. Let us go.
Piero moye, moye, Piero moye, Piero moye, Mogiarba, Oyawesa, moye, Jiblo, no Pigeon Boba, Yeruno, ma boye, Piero, moye, Piero moye, mon plein condition. Au pied, mon plein condition. À ça, au clano. Yahweh, quel amour, le côté. Piero moye, Piero moye, Piero moye, Ericona, Piero moye, ah, Chalicona, Piero moye, ah, to Piero moye. Ah, yeah, Piero, ah, Piero, moye, Erico Jato Piero, Marebo Mujato Piero, Erico.
Okay, good evening. Good evening. So, I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us here. Today is what? It's Wednesday, midweek. Welcome. This is the Liberia Public Radio. As usual, I'm Alfonso here, so I want to welcome our viewers and listeners. If you're right here in the home state of Pawtucket, of course, right within my own proximity, so I want to welcome our neighbors, good friend. Madam Nyeswat, and all of our beautiful people. The Liberal Progressive is here, and I guess there are some other folks. Hopefully, they will join this conversation here. And we're going to get this ball rolling. Let me see, Liberal, if you are ready, let me know. This one, there are some new feature there are there. Okay. Here we go again this evening. I don't know how you're going to look like, but there he is. From my town, Grand Gila County to Saxton, Sacramento, California, the most liberal on this network. Something Bloku Branto is here this evening. The liberal, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul, and we're here again. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful, wonderful day, and we thank God that we're all here. Let's have fun and let's discuss whatever it is that we have to discuss affecting our people back home.
Okay. Man, it seems you're in high spirit this evening, though.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Because quite frankly, let me just lay it out right there. What transpired here, I believe it was Sunday. What transpired here was very wonderful, wonderful. We have Dr. Bakai having a town hall meeting, and successfully, it was a resounding success, successfully carry out a program, and for over 2 hours standing on his feet. Are there any other political leader that will be able to stand on their feet for 2 hours and be able to, and still be able to satisfy everyone question that came up for over that long time? It was just a wonderful, and I'm still in a good spirit because of that. So I just want to lay it out quite quickly. Thank you very much.
Oh, are you still from what Sunday Town Hall Conference?
And not only that, I was able to speak with Dr. Bakai. His voice is so pleasant, for goodness sake. He was so charming and so welcoming. And I thank God that Dr. Bakai was able to talk to the liberal progressive. He didn't say, I'm not talking to you because you're liberal. He spoke with me. And I really appreciate it. And the person that connected us, the good, smart, intellectual George Lobo, that is connected. And I think, look, Mr. Soul, let me just tell you this. Liberians, you will do well to rally around Dr. Bakai because he's the stabilizer. He will be able to stabilize this ship. Please come on board. Let's support Dr. Bakai. Let him take us to the next level. This is Samson too, of course.
This is a big surprise for me this evening, though.
I don't know why you will be surprised.
I'm wondering what was behind that telephone call. You just gave me all the surface, dish it outlet here. What
Well,
was
there was
the
nothing to
purpose?
hide. He called, I called. No, first, Lobo placed the call and said the honorable former VP wants to talk to you. Because remember, LPR carried the show. So first thing he said, oh, let me just tell you guys, thank you very much. You guys did a wonderful job. And he said the country of Liberia does not belong to one person. This is the country that belongs to all of us. So please, whatever you guys do in the diaspora, join us. Let's rebuild this country and take it to the next level. And I believe all of the young people, he says, will be willing to join us to carry. And that's the excitement here. And nothing anybody can do that will dampen this excitement. Nobody, not even including you, that will dampen this excitement this evening. And so please, try not to even try, because you're not going to be successful.
Happening right now. The talking point is about to get underway. Okay, welcome, Mama Francois. And so, right behind the microphone here, there's a big surprise for you. We are about to get this conversation, give you another shift. By the way, so we invited two folks. One is here, and I'm hoping for the other one to come, just to keep the conversation proportional, because he's already in gear. Another high core supporter of the Alternative National Congress, ANC. Ooh, he's been on fire. He was within the close proximity of Ambassador Jose Numa Boyka during the town hall meeting. He called himself the general. Is he a civilian general or the retired general? I just can't establish the full identity of his status. Maybe political commentator general or whatever it is. Deliberate, don't get surprised. Let's bring in AKA the General Money Kishe is standing by. And by the way, we also asked Mr. Wallace to join us here. I hope he's going to make it from the Unity Party side. So we're going to square it all out here this evening. LeBron now has talked to Dr. Boyka, so he's all excited and everything fun. He has not disclosed that to the management here. Something is happening somewhere. People are now trying to hook up with the political giant. Okay, the general, good evening and welcome.
Good evening to you, and good evening to Samson. You can hear me there?
Loud and clear.
Thank you.
Okay, so welcome. As usual, we are here to have this information. Again, for the benefit of our listeners, we also extend an invitation to a strong supporter of the Unity Party, Mr. George Wallace, I believe in Minnesota. I tried to get hold of sedition, but it just hard because some of these people don't even know their leadership, so it makes it difficult. But if you are watching and you are a strong supporter of CDC, you can also let us know and we'll bring you right on here. It seems to be deliver some sour lime. You're taking some sour lime right now. You don't expect the general coming here, right?
Please, far from it, Mr. So. As Amos George would say, my hey fame nobody more, nobody hey fame more. Mr. So, please, this is something. But let me just make this point very clear on a very serious note. I am not here representing anybody except for myself. My view and my own view only, and that's about it. The only thing I'm saying to you that I was so glad and so blessed to be able to have a conversation. The conversation only lasts like maybe 10 seconds the most.
Okay, hold on. Let me have a true confession. I don't care the length of the time.
No, I just want you to know.
I didn't ask for that. Oh man. 10
seconds.
10 seconds,
maybe I'm making more than 10 seconds.
Do you have the
but it's none of your business anyway.
So why do you want to tell us? Why are you telling us you have the full loss for also authenticate what you are saying?
Mr. So why will you go that low? Why would I want to produce, even if I have a full loss? He's going to be your next president of the Republic of Liberia. And you want me to disclose to you the full log of even if I have that ability? No, these are all security issues.
Okay, so all right, gentlemen, let's get a conversation to our valuable listeners and followers. Yeah, it's happening now. Let's take on some international news here. It's according to France 24, the West African Regional Group, ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, imposes new sanctions on Mali and Guinea. How effective these people's sanction can be. Remember, there should be some sort of elections. Those places, they are military coup. The junta in control. So now ECOWAS is trying to strengthen her muscle. Here, guys, let's get out of our own little comfort zone here and see whether we can dive in this here. And let me just tap into the expertise of the general. General,
Yep.
if you hear say ECOWAS imply or impose sanctions on Guinea and Mali, how effective that sanction can be? In fact, there's a saying that when there's a coup, they should be able to repel or restore the democratic elected government. But now we are talking sanctions. Is that a job exercise? They just want us to pinch around?
Well, I believe that the ECOWAS, they're like a club. When I say club, in a sense, when you're president, you try to protect your positions. So they go against military people that want to overthrow their government. But my problem is that when all these things happen in the country, you see a president trying to change constitution, going on the rights of the people, ECOWAS don't get involved. But when the people take the law into the hand, like the military say, well, we're going to get rid of them, then the next thing they come in. How strong they are, I don't know, because from the past performance, we have seen, according to Liberia, where we went to the ECOWAS code, and up to now, our government cannot even abide by the ECOWAS code on so many decisions that were came like on Nancy Doe issues and on Kabina Janet. There's nothing going on. So we don't, maybe they're just saying it, talk is cheap. They're just trying to pull muscle. And if Guinea want to stand on and say, listen, we don't go anywhere, even you put a sanction on us, the military people don't even have a bank account out of the country. They just stay in the country. So where they're going to go? Nowhere. At the end of the day, they will come to the table. They did it to Egypt. The OU, the AU did it to Egypt. After a year or two, what happened? Egypt is back in there with the same military leader. So at the end of the day, I believe that the president, when they're trying to protect all the presidents of the club, trying to protect themselves, that would not accept any coup. But at the same time, when you see your colleague doing something wrong, come up and say it. Say, listen, man, you causing the. That's why.
Yeah, no money. These countries here, and I'm going to bring in the Liberia before we switch gear. These are sovereign nations. ECOWAS is not going to run the regional affairs of Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone. I believe on their own protocols, there are specific issues or crises they too can take intervention. While with ECOWAS go into Liberia, legal or some sort of legal system that is not of maybe to meet the standards of ECOWAS protocol.
Well, you see, when you sign a contract, that's what happened. If you want to be part of a group and you go in there and you sign, you say, listen, let's put ourselves together. So even if, for example, if ECOWAS impose sanction on Guinea, Guinea can still do business with any other country. They don't have to do business with ECOWAS. They can cross over ECOWAS and get the North African, they get South, and they can go over to Russia and they go other places. What are you going to do? You're going to stop them? No. You see? So maybe if the United Nations can come in, the United Nations is more powerful, and then the EU and whatsoever, but ECOWAS, hey, that's not, you sign a contract with them. You say you try to put yourself together to have one body. So if you sign that contract, abide by the contract. That's it.
So, Liberal.
Yes.
Let me get your liberal view here. Is it time for ECOWAS to restructure her serve in the diplomatic world, on the security front, whatever best way? Is there a need for ECOWAS to revisit her own position, her own role, the sort of how to beat relevance? Is ECOWAS, can they do that?
Well, ECOWAS, as far as I'm concerned, is still relevant because it is a body of nations, specifically from West Africa. And so Liberia being my country and part of that, then I will respect that as well. However, I think Dr. Weir put his best the last time, where he said, and I'm just paraphrasing, that we do not support any overthrowing of a sitting democratically elected government. We do not support those type of behavior. However, he says, if we're going to sit here, and like I said, I'm paraphrasing, if we're going to sit here as ECOWAS leaders and allow one of us to manipulate the Constitution just to stay in power, then perhaps we need to look deeper. Because why are these people overthrowing these government? Is it because they just want power? Far from it, he says. And I think the issue of Guinea was one of those he was talking about. So I think, as the general corrector stated, the ECOWAS leadership themselves, they need to start from the beginning. When a leader start going astray from their constitution, from the mandate of the people,
Wait
and
a
try to
minute.
impose himself on the people, then I think ECOWAS community need to come in immediately and say,
What?
we're not gonna deal with you. We're even going to sanction
So
you.
wait a minute. I'm not sure whether the general is in line with what you are saying. Probably there must be something that you guys can concord here this evening, but for sure it won't last. They only what I if agree with you, it won't last in the next few minutes here. So are you calling for ECOWAS to police the other Southwest
No,
African
no, far
states?
from it. Far from it. These are all sovereign countries. We all accept that. However, they have a charter. They have an agreement to be in as a body. Now, if you are going to belong to a particular body, and if your country is
Is
not
somebody
going,
having some audio? Hold on one second. Somebody having an audio playing?
Yeah, I'm trying to share this stuff. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Libra.
so if you're going to be a part of a group, and there's a rules. So, for example, in this situation, a countries of West Africa coming together and say we're going to put things together economically, and there are certain cooperation we're going to have. However, there's nothing stated that I'm aware of that say if I'm mistreating my people in my country, it's none of your business. You stay out. If I'm killing my people in my country, it's none of your business. You stay out. But if my people overthrow me, then you should come in. There's nothing like that. So if ECWA want to be taken seriously, and this is the interesting thing, because young African, West Africans specifically, they are educated, sophisticated, and intellectually capable of handling whatever it is that is happening in West Africa. So for Conte to come and manipulate the constitution, and now when they're talking out based on his manipulation of the constitution, now he's going to sit here and say, where are you, ECWA? Why aren't you coming to my aid? Then I think it's a baby cry that will not go anywhere in total, Mr. Soul.
Okay, so let me get the general last take here, and we're going to shift the gear here to see how far this sort of coalition you guys trying to form here it will last. General, let's look at the footprint of ECOWAS. I think for some time too they are kicked the can down the road, and it all started from even way back, even when the late Samuel Doe was captured. I remember kill. The words out of the former Secretary General of ECOWAS, Dr. Abbas Bono, when he was interviewed by Ruben White, he said it was part of ECOWAS plan. And the next morning, when media began to bombard, he said that was a slip of tongue. I think that started some sort of apprehensions of this West African region, even if it was the plan of ECOWAS. But for a chief diplomat to come out like that when the sitting president has been captured and killed, whether it was war, to say, yeah, that was part of ECOWAS plan, that created some sort of cloud on the status of ECOWAS. Is that fair enough for such an analysis?
Well, at the time, that's what he said. But when you look at ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, it's mainly because of economics and exchanging businesses and whatsoever. They never had a security thing where you're going to police your friend because they are all sovereign nation, like my brother said. But when things are going wrong, if you put yourself together as a group and want to help each other, if things are going wrong in that country politically, where the government, the president trying to and play with the constitution, let them come out and give him a warning. You see, but you can't sit there until there's a coup and then you come up and say, oh, no, because you know what? They are president too. They don't want anyone to overthrow them. That's why they're pushing all these things. But always make sure you be there for other. Look, when you look at the military about civilian government, they're more dangerous than even the military. Because imagine a civilian government like Conte. He was a civilian, voted, tried to change the constitution. A military government came and removed him. Without even killing him, they said, listen, it's too much. You're doing too much to our people. Somebody must come in and protect the people. But he was worse than a military man. Civilian died on him. I would not support no military coup When we have a civilian government, let it always be a civilian government. But when things like this happen, the next group that is the civilian look up to is the military. They look up to the military and say, listen, I wish they can just overthrow this guy. And that's the only the military depending on. But what Abbas Bono said at the time, it was just at the time. Now he will not make such a statement anymore. Now they try to put themselves into a group where, okay, when it comes to security, we're going to check each other up. We're going to make sure no one cross that border, come over to my country. So when you look at it, when you into that club, then you protect your interests. That's how I see the whole thing right now. If you're president, you say, okay, well, I'm secure. Nobody's going to overthrow me because ECOWAS will not allow it, so I can do anything. But ECOWAS need to go further. Like President Weah said, they need to go further. And I applaud him on that technical statement that he made. We need to do better than that. We can't sit there and allow other nations to be into a problem. Then when they overthrow, we'll try to complain. No, ECOWAS not there to control any country. I don't think so.
Okay, gentlemen, it's time to return home. Okay, the biggest news of the week, and I saw the Liberal all flying here like an eagle. I'm not sure how long those wings can stay when hurricane comes in. But let's just share this, the biggest events during the week and what could potentially be the political dividend. With this sort of so-called political matrimony is on life support, but people are not paying attention. Let's listen. Let's watch this here. Let's see here.
Today, the city, the field, the children, their education, women in the street, 7 days. This is the situation of our country. I don't want for you to think about whether you're partisan or not. Talk about reality, the situation in the country. When you compare with 7 years ago, we took over. We used to call Rush Street the country it was control, but then the minister.
Okay. It's reality. People selling Water Street, Broad Street. I'm wondering what in the last 12 years, all of these things were not happening. But guys, let's get to the talking point here. And let me just start from the way, and not to disadvantage the Liberal, because Kishan, I saw that we were relaying and you went straight out from that with your question. So let's put aside your ANC government or your support to ANC. What was the actual atmosphere when you entered that hall and you saw the former vice president coming in? What was the very first discontent that you have in terms of the environment itself and when the vice president rode to his seat to sit down?
Well, I would say the program was organized. It was okay. I got there a little late. I think I got there like 30 minutes late. But when I walk in, and eyes was on me too, people try to, some guys came to me and said, my man, we need to work together. You got to be careful what you're doing. So I say, hey, come on, I'm here to watch. This is a Liberian event. He's running for president. I'm here to listen.
That was my way to neutralize you in this position. Your question.
Yes, so I said, no, I'm here to listen and ask a question. And I'm not. I told a friend. I said, listen, the question I came with, I'm not going to change it. So don't worry. It's not a question to disrespect the vice president. I respect him for his service to Liberia, but there were a lot of people in there, different people. They had seditionists, and they had people from ANC, and they had most of them were UP people. It was a friendly environment, but it was not like a restricted place. But it was okay, and it was their setting. Maybe if I was to do that, I was going to set it up different way, but I think it was too much delay that we have to make a long line just to ask a question. And then at the end of the day, you put yourself into a box where people will say that you're trying to be biased. Once the man is online, you can just let that man to ask his question. But I believe if everyone was sitting and putting hands up and recognizing you can use the Robert rule of law, and apply and know exactly what to do. But everybody online, so when they say 2 more questions, hey, you look behind, you see 10 persons standing up. What are you going to do? Maybe you're afraid to lose a vote. But it was okay. The vice president answered the question that was asked, and he answered the way he wanted to answer. You see, in a town hall, it's not a forum.
That was
So he answered it the way he wanted to answer it.
politically in
Yes.
your context. Okay. I said politically.
Yeah.
All right. So the liberal.
Yes.
All right. So let's have a conversation here. What could be the political dividends of the VP visit in the US? Is it meant to another export, another unity, the rebirth of unity party if he wins? And people are saying now he's a presumptive nominee. I don't know on what basis and where that is coming from here. But do you think the vice president achieved his political course here by coming into the diaspora here? Has he solidified his political base, you think?
Yeah, Mr. So before I address that question, let me say 1 or 2 things because we also were, you and I were on air here for hours and hours. We watched the entire process from finish beginning to end. We watched everything. I also that night expressed my dissatisfaction with the program itself. They have no program sheets, and I also expressed my dissatisfaction the way they had the vice president giving that kinds of chair to sit in. I was uncomfortable with it.
Are we back to this chair scenario against Samson too?
Mr. So I'm giving you what I said. These are my own views, so I'm entitled to them. The fact that they will allow him, or the fact that they will put him in a chair where the pastor sits. He's not there to preach to anybody. He's not there to win soul for the Christ. He's there to express to the Liberian people why he wants to be the leader. And then immediately you're going to put in a chair that looked like a king chair. Anybody can utilize that and try to use it for something else. So, Mr. So, I just want to get those things out of the way. And I think Mazura came back later on and explained to all the process why they wanted him to sit in that chair. Having said that, Mr. So, I think overall the program itself was very unique and was very interesting. And what I believe Dr. Barker demonstrated that night was to say to many Liberians, Sedition, Unity Party, Liberty Party, whatever party you belong to, but as long as you're Liberian who have interest in the upliftment of Liberia, he's saying, and he said to all of us, to say, I am here as a unifier. I'm going to do whatever that I can to unify this country. I'm going to do whatever that I can to make sure this country is stabilized. And I think if you have someone of his stature, someone of his experience, to exhibit such a temperament, political temperament among us, among the young people, he was never pushed to the point to get. There was some people that tried to ask questions. I mean, you and I watched that, but not once did he come out and
do not hold me as I'm not going to be a still witness here for you.
Okay, whatever. You weren't watching. I was watching. Whatever. Whatever. I'm not even going to respond to that. But the point that I'm making is this: he never once became agitated. Let's put it this way: he was calm, collect himself, and able to express himself exactly with the message that he has in mind. So he has every point. And not all question. You saw the process. It's not to say they have to read a question to him first and let him try to figure out how to answer. No, they were spontaneous question and spontaneous respond. So to have somebody of that stature to be able to remember everything else as people were asking questions, and he was writing. He was writing as you're asking your question. This is what you want your political leader to do. This is what you want somebody who has the ability to lead. This is what you want them to do. Not to answer questions like Samuel Twe, believing he knows everything else better than any other person. He didn't do that. He didn't come across as being condescending to the people that was asking the question. In fact, if you ask me, he was very much sympathetic to those people that were asking questions from their perspective. Even if he doesn't agree with them, he allowed them to ask a question and he responded by saying, sir, or okay, let me say this. I would say this. I would. You see what I'm saying? What I'm going with this? So this man is, for me, crystal clear. The next president of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay, the house is about to divide. Everybody, the house is about to go. Hell is about to break loose now because what the liberal is doing now, he's gradually creeping and getting under your skin. The general, that's what he's saying. To me, the vice president, he's the president. So, the general, let me ask you here. You listen to the liberal analysis, and he's so decisive in his analysis. He has drawn conclusion that everything went very milky and everything was just okay. Um, was the vice president managed in a house? Was he micromanaged? Was there some sort of manipulation to persuade to hide something from the audience? That's some sort of thing you observe from what you see, just to be honest with what?
Yeah, Mr. So let me say this to Mr. Brown Mr. Samson Brown. I respect his view. I always love to respect people's views because it was his view that he gave that Mr. Boaka. Yes, he answered the question the way it's supposed to be. He played to his base. Yes, they were majority. He rised them up. He pushed them up. Yes, they have some confidence. But if you tell me that he gained anything from independent or seditions or somebody that on the fence to say, oh, no. I think I have to follow the vice president, then I disagree with him. But he answered the question the way he wanted to. You see, in a town hall meeting, it's not a dialogue. If I ask you the question and you answer it, I either take the answer or don't until I can be given another chance again. But yes, he was managed, and it is proven that he was managed by people on the stage, which it was not noticed until I decided to watch because I was sitting there, I never really noticed it. And when I watched it, then I noticed that, oh, George Lobo was there into the vice president ears, and it's proven when you go back to the LRTN recording because the microphone was very hot and was right on the table. And you could hear George Lobo very sound, clearly, like telling the vice president how to answer the question. But these things happen with politicians. I know it happened with politicians, so I don't really hold, but it was bad. It was on air, and people are listening to it. But I think he impressed his base. It gave confidence to some UP partisan who felt that the VP was sick or the VP was that, which I don't like to get into. But if you tell me that he took people from the fence on to get on his side, I don't see there was nothing in there. It was all about advice, and how this country, because you said something. All the things we're watching today, it took place in the last 12 years under the early administration. So when like selling water on the sidewalk, you know how long been selling water on the sidewalk? It's been a long time. The kids been selling water between cars. When you go down to Vartan, they're all over the place selling water. So this is not anything strange. But what I really wanted to hear was the vice president policy on things. I think they should have allowed the vice president to explain his agenda, what he have in store if he's president. Says he cannot take responsibility of what happened during Ellen time, but what you have for Liberian people, how are you going to take us from point A to point B, the economy, the security, but people ask question and answer. But when he gave the speech, I think he was supposed to enlighten Liberians on that issue. But as I said, he answered the question the way it was asked, and it was a friendly environment. So the question came the way they feel like asking the question.
All right, to our listener viewers, this is a Liberia Public Radio. We extend an invitation to another supporter of Unity on this edition that CDC folks I wasn't able to get. But however, if you're watching this podcast and you think you're a strong supporter of the government, let us know. We can bring you here, even though it might be an impromptu one, but you should be prepared when you are supporting someone. And that's part of the relationship we want to have, what they call this media, not just only government media, there's a media and opposition. We need to talk to these surrogates, these supporters, because there seems to be more problem than even these aspirants. Okay, the liberal.
Yes.
Why are you staring like that?
Mr. So, like I said, not you, not the general have the ability tonight to dampen this enthusiasm that I have within me. Let me say before you even ask your question, the general. Let me little bit. I'm not here for kumbaya between you, the general, myself. No, that's not what I'm here tonight. I'm here to be factual. Let the general come out here now. Here we go. Here we go. He come out here to say the vice president, yeah, it was nice, but he should have. Money quarterback will not get me food. What that money quarterback will eat? That I will eat. That why the general come here and can't tell me say money quarterback. That I will eat. That I will eat. Mr. So, the vice president, the former vice president. Yes, it was not the place. Let us don't forget. Even though I'm jumping the gun, and I will admit I'm jumping the gun to say that this is the man that will be the next president. But there are process. This is a collaborating political party, including ANC and 2 other political parties. So the vice president has not been nominated to be the standard bearer of the collaborating political party. Number one. Second, what we must understand, and I hope my brother will agree with me, the vice president, why he might say this is what going to be my policy or whatever. Let's wait after the entire process is done, where the vice president now has been nominated and accepted by the 4 political parties to be the standard bearer. Then they will formulate as a group a policy where they will carry out. It's not an individual thing here, number one. Second thing, the vice president, without the man smart, the why he PhD, he too smart. Instead, without him going into policy, however, this is some of the things he said. He said, what is happening in the country is unacceptable. And I'm paraphrasing again. What is happening in this country is unacceptable. The killing, the security issue. How can you have a country and not be your citizen and not be able to be happy with the security issue? Look at the monetary policy in that country. Where are we going with it? This is unacceptable, he said. And your former president of Grand Junction County Association, first female president ever to be the president of Grand Junction County Association, Madam Manta Kana, asked the question, what happened to the roads in Grand Junction County? And the vice president said, and I'm quoting this one, I'm going to quote, roads. This vice president have this thing under control.
What is that song about? What's that song about?
In other words, he's going to make everything. This is what he said. He said you cannot have a viable economy without road being connected all over the country. You need road connectivities in order for you to do well. So, Mr. So, please spare me that this is not the vice president for me, the next president of the Republic of Liberia. Why? Because I believe he's going to stabilize the country.
All right.
Mr. So, I know you want to ask the question, but I think this one, you need to ask, I can come in.
All right, go ahead. Let's see.
You know, they say if you chase a black car, the car is so black, a small little village, you look for this black car in the day and you can't find it. Do you think you'll find it in the night? No, you will never find that car. Imagine a car black, sun all over the place, you won't find it in the night. You know, when Samson talking about Mr. Bouaka going to be the next president, I respect him because he been a supporter of Bouaka long time on this show. He made it clear. He's a ALP, no, you're LP man, LEP USA, who's supporting Bouaka. So I expect him to give anything extra about Mr. Bouaka. But if you're telling me that Mr. Bouaka should get the nominee first before explaining his policy, you should understand when you go to a town hall meeting, it's not about your members. Your members got your back already. It's about the people on the fence and the people on the other side. These are the people you want to convince. Yes, you don't have the membership, the standard bearership yet, but you can still compare yourself because you are a possible nominee. Once you're in that race, either you win or you lose to go against Joshua. So I think it is right to say that. Now you talk about the grand leader. Before the vice president talk about roads, he made a sarcastic remark. So the people from Grand Leader, he said, but I thought you got bad road medicine. I thought that's what you're going to say. I thought you got bad road medicine. I think it was not anything. It was not.
Liberal, did you hear that, sir? You hear that?
Yes, yes, I did.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
did.
think he should have said it.
I did, and I love that statement.
Okay.
I love that statement.
Okay, good.
I
good.
love that statement.
Okay.
Because, okay, go ahead and finish your point,
Yes.
and I'll come in.
He said it was. I thought you guys had a barroom medicine. Yes, the people voted for President. We are, like I always tell people, I hold no one responsible who you vote for. If they don't make it right, it's up to them. No decision is right until it is right. But I believe that you don't have to be the nominee before you explain your platform to the nation. And now the president, the vice president, talk about security in the country. He talked about the monetary value. But the vice president was in Liberia when the senators, most of the senators in the oppositions are from UP. They signed for this money, this $47 billion. There was not a statement for the president to criticize his senators and tell them, say, listen, what you guys did was wrong. And everybody knew it was wrong. They did their own thing. He's not going to hold them and bring them down. We never heard the vice president talking about it. And everything the vice president said, which is true, but he spoke on them when they asked the question. You in Liberia. Look, let me tell you today, Mr. Everything that President we are doing today, this vice president can put President we are on check. When President we went on Somalia Drive and bragging about the roads, this president who said, congratulations, Mr. President, but that road was signed under my administration, our administration. The airport that you are all over the place talking about, we signed this deal. This other thing you're talking about, we did it. And this government continues, you continue it. But this vice president sitting, not even arguing, George, we are taking all the glory. George, we are taking all the projects, including the Redemption Hospital in Carwell. He taking everything.
I have to respond to this.
Yes, so I think the vice president
is a government general. It's the process, a continual process. A government starts and continues.
Yes,
it doesn't start because some other people everything else and no. So the thing that I enjoyed about this vice president, not only is he smart, but he also have the ability to compartmentalize exactly what is happening now. So the vice president, the fact that there's the current president going around claiming here and there, the vice president is watching, and many Liberians are also watching. But you don't expect the vice president to go tit to tat with the president. Oh no, that we did that one. Oh no, that we did that one. No. Let the president be whatever he can do and make sure that Liberia is successful. And this is the thinking of Dr. Wakai. If Dr. Weah is successful, Liberia is successful. Now let me address another thing here. He said the general said earlier that he believed, and I'm saying believe now. He believed that Dr. Baka was being stage managed by, and he specifically called my young son the most intellectual, the most smart person that I can think of, George Lobo. Now, George Lobo and the rest of the group, they are bringing the vice president in public. He's their leader. And you expect them to protect him, not just physically, but to also make sure that whatever comes out of his mouth, not to say this or say that, but when the question they ask, and perhaps the vice president did not understand the question, it is the duty of those who are on stage with him to repeat so that he does not answer a question that was not asked. And so, Mr. Lobo, you wish you appreciate Mr. Lobo by standing there and continue to repeat whatever the people are saying.
Okay, Mr. Let me correct you.
No, hold on 1 minute. The vice president, if you were going to say, Mr. So, the liberal is speaking, please. If you think that the vice president was managed, perhaps they would have said, don't stand up, stand up. But every time they ask a question, this father of the nation, the soon-to-be president of the Republic of Liberia, had it within him. What a small boy, small girl, small baby, he didn't care. He stand up and respect the people who asking the question. He didn't have to do that, but he's standing up to show to the Liberian people. One more thing, Mr. So please. He also mentioned twice he has mentioned that he believed, and I say believe because that's just how he believes, that Dr. Baka, according to him, perhaps has failed to move the needle. Far from it. Far from it. Watch the next gathering in Minnesota. How many people are going to turn up? You think this situation they have, whatever you want to call it, town hall, whatever you want to call it, they haven't finished. It didn't move neither. Please, that thing move a huge needle.
Yeah.
So I want to say to you, it was
Mr. So it looked like you might hold most of your questions. You might hold most of your questions.
No,
and
I'm obliged here.
You know,
out here, but go ahead, respond.
I love when they talk about numbers. I don't believe in numbers like that, because in a public forum where it's not restricted, you got people from different areas. You got people from ANC, UP, everybody going there to ask questions. Not everybody going to a public gathering. Then if you restrict that place and all UP, then it's all UP. But you can't forget about all these numbers. Just stop speaking these numbers. But Mr. So, I want to correct you, Mr. Sampson, I want to correct you on something. Lobo, some instances, he repeated the question to the vice president. I was there, I saw it. But he went into the vice president, bent down and tell the vice president, answer this question this way and that way. I never noticed it, because when you're on the field, there's certain things you don't see. When I got home and when I saw people posting, but while Lobo telling the vice president what to say, and then I went and watched the tape on LRTN because they were very clear. LRTN was very clear. The microphone was right on the table. And Lobo told the president, as the vice president, exactly how to answer, and then he said, finish, just say it. And he stood up. So I said, oh, but I know when you see people around VIP, some doing research, giving it, but it is bad because other people who watching you say, listen, but what's going on? The vice president answered his question, but that doesn't mean that this vice president is capable enough with the people around him to lead Liberia, because I will see no changes there. What happened before happened, Liberians voted for change, and they will always vote for anything that look like a change. Anything that don't look like change, they will keep the present change that they have. So I'm telling you today, you can sing the song that I respect that Mr. Baka will be the next president of the Republic of Liberia, but I can tell you too, Mr. Cummings, we are concentrating right now on the CPP. We must win the nomination first. When we win the nomination, then we go to the general election. No, wait, now relax. I hope you don't drink that hard coffee to relax yourself. We must win that nomination first in the CPP, then we're ready for George Weah. But we're not afraid to explain our agenda to Liberian people because we are fair, we honest. Anybody can use it. So that is why we're not hiding it to wait until we get to George before we bring it up. No.
Right. Mr. So, hold on, Mr. So, please. I got to respond. Okay, all right, run your show like a conservative. Run your show. Go ahead. Don't recognize the liberal. He spoke, and you don't want to recognize the liberal. Go ahead, I'm listening.
I think you got more time speaking now.
Okay, happening now. The train is about to derail. Look, let me tell you, I am in charge. And so there's no way of roller skating here. But let's welcome from Atlanta, Georgia, from the far right, Mr. Amos George is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. What kind of man going to, hey, man, say he leaving? Why you can't have fun now again to give me a again to man? I said,
okay, Mr. George, good evening, welcome. I know you going through your tough time. I'm going through it, but we all choose more or less important. You know, I just settled down here and let me just see it. I don't even know. Is this collaboration is it still existing? The collaboration. Is there anything called collaboration by these four political parties?
Mr. So, before if you're asking me, before I answer that, let me address the general statement he made a few
But let
minutes.
me just okay. Let me just put a lock on this whole thing. It's not going to be general speed, general address, something. No, no, that's not a Muppet show we are having here. So that's not what I'm going to waste my time to
Okay,
say.
then agree with me that Dr. Barker will be the next president. Then the
That's
show
not what I'm
closed.
saying. You have
Why
the
is
right.
you agree with you?
Right.
Well, then
I'm
we
not here
end,
to
then we
do it.
end the show.
No, I'm just only telling you there are some real things that we.
Okay, but let me address that. The man point out some things that I need to address, Mr. So. You can't
No, you
have this
address
kind of
you
conversation.
address enough now because I will have to address too. That's
Listen,
why I say it look like Mr. So will have to keep all his questions if you want us to go
So,
this way. I
take a
respect
swag
your
and liberal
view.
face all the
I
time.
respect your view that you support Bwaka. I'm
so let
not
me
saying
just try
anything.
right now.
Yeah, but
Tomorrow,
let me
if
Let me
Bwaka
try
is a
it.
nominee, I will support him.
Hold on.
okay, all right. Let's leave it. Let's leave it at that, folks.
Yeah.
But this is what I
No,
face all the time.
no,
This is what
don't
liberal face here on this platform all the time. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you crying baby
Sanction
cry
me.
now. You crying baby
Sanction
cry
me.
now. Okay. Let me give you crying baby cry. Get some little drink, and let me just let's just welcome Mr. George, and I will come right back to you, Mr. George.
Thank you,
Good
Mr.
evening,
Josh.
welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. So and Captain Amikishan. Mr. Tool, please stop whining. This is not your game. Stop this whining. Okay? If you can't stand the heat,
Leave
don't
the
go in the
kitchen.
kitchen.
Mr. Tour, go ahead. Mr. Tour, are you there?
Oh. You brought Mr. Amos Joyce central right just to advise me, and you want me now to respond to his advice? To say I'm not whining? Is that what you want me to do? Mr. So, I know the kind of games all of you here to play. You can't dampen this enthusiasm that is in this liberal tonight. The next president of the Republic
Okay.
of Liberia is Dr.
So,
Barker. Let me answer quickly, and I'll let you have your day. Honorable General, let me say this to you, sir. You stated that the ANC will not wait until the collaborating process come to an end before they will start laying out their platform and what have you.
No. I never said that. I
What did you
said
say?
we are waiting. We are concentrating on the CPP right now to win the nomination before going to George. But as much as we're doing that, we got our platform all out there, the agenda of Mr. Cummings. So we're not afraid to hide it.
Let me address that. Let me address that. With all due respect, that is intellectually dishonest. If the ANC will say we respect the rule, we are waiting until the process is over. But in the meantime, we're going to tell you what we have in the bag. Then it is dishonest intellectually. Because why am I saying this? The ANC and the three political parties make up a collaboration political party. And whatever the leadership, whoever the people decide to be the standard bearer, that person will now be speaking for and on behalf of the collaborating political party, including the platform, including the whatever it is. ANC cannot come to this position with its own platform and say, yeah, the platform might be dominated by ANC and what have you. But for ANC to say now, whatever platform we have at this initial stage will be the platform that the CPP will endorse, then that's intellectually dishonest.
Okay, so let me stabilize the conversation and breaking. Let me stabilize the conversation and breaking Amos George. Amos George, this is my discontent with this collaboration, the ANC Unity Party, ALP, WLP here. We know in modern society, pretty well, we now know Alexander Cummings of ANC, Joseph Boyka of Unity Party, they are potential runners in this 2023 here. And from what I know, and Kishan too can put me on record for that, and even the Liberal, there is something called Kishan cabinet when these people, when you see these major political parties and their leaders. I've never heard from the Unity Party, from the ANC, Not even single person to say this is the economic advisor to the political leader of this XYZ person that is running. We have no idea who they have in their backyard, who is within their political belt. We don't know the faces or how their cabinet going to look like. And I know somebody going to tell me, oh, it is not our time. Don't tell me that. It is time. We need to know exactly the faces, people who are going to be the decision maker, be it Joseph Boyka or Alexander Coming is elected. Not to have a bunch of group of people to shadow one of these candidates, time for event, and everybody try to take control. Don't you think it's time for us to know the actual faces of these people who are speaking, to what they're going to represent, what their voices are? But only when this person speaks, say, no, the person is not speaking for Cummings because they just don't want us to know. Where is the disconnect?
Mr. So you are 100% correct. And I called somebody, I think this week, and I was asking them the same question, and we're discussing the same thing. Then Mr. Kishan is on the show. I think he will convey that message to the political leader, because we cannot go down the same path that we criticize George we are for today. Because 2017, we didn't see these people. Mangede were not on the front line speaking for George Weah. Well, only George Weah won. So now we are in this 21st century, and the democracy want to build in Liberia. We got to be very honest to our people, because the people you surround yourself with will tell us the direction in which you want to take the country. But all along, we don't see any people. Like for a year, the Democrats used to have Susan Wright were out there. Pierre, this girl, the press secretary were out there. We saw these people. All people who in government today, we saw them storming on behalf of Joe Biden.
We were able to get a sense of how the cabinet or how the government going to look like, but it's not happening in our society.
Yeah, we knew that the direction which Joe Biden was going to take this country, the people he surrounded himself with. Today, nothing you can see in Liberia. Who is the economic advisor to Alexander Cummings? Who is the chief of security? Who is the security guy who will come and talk on security? What is happening in the country? What if they get to power? What they will take the country to? These people, foreign affairs. Who is the guy in the foreign affairs area, diplomatic area that will speak to the issue? So these things we are not seeing it. This is at the result. You saw what happened in Philadelphia. A dismal failure. George Lobo is the guy who will be the chief of protocol for Buckeye. Henry Costa is the one who will be by the Minister of State. We don't know. But you see the kind of, when these people are surrounding people, it leaves me, it gets me very afraid and nervous. The people who surround these people at this time, if these are the people that are going to take the government, then of course, Liberia is headed for trouble. So it is absolutely necessary that we start seeing these people, political advisor, security advisor, foreign affairs advisor, economic advisor. It is not time. Tell your political leaders that you start putting these people out there. Now, every time is Mr. Cummings speaking on economics, he's speaking on security. No, Boakai, the same old thing. The two of them, those are the two leading people now. Where is the security advisor? Where is the economic advisor?
Well,
where
so,
the person in charge of foreign affairs?
Let's pause. I think these two gentlemen, they are taking deep breath, and we're going to start.
These are the things we want to see.
So, the liberal
out there talking on all the issues. Someone asking open wide. We want to see who will be behind these people. Who will take in, who will be foreign, let's look at State Department, foreign affairs. Who that Alexander Cummings can point to today that this is a guy from the veteran guy in the diplomatic circle will come and speak on the issue. I'm not saying that. Let's wait for Boakai. I have not seen that. So it's not time that we start holding these people responsible. Let them put these people forward. Let them know who will be these people tomorrow.
And so probably let me guess the reason here, because these people they don't the commitment, the part of that is the commitment is not there. They are not even willing to commit to their country neither the political party. They are all gaming, they are all hustling, and that's what they are doing. Look, I am interested knowing who's going to be the face of Liberia within the diplomatic enclave, who will restore Liberia's credibility within the diplomatic enclave. I want to know, for example, who is now advising Kumi or Boykai to preside over the finances of our country, the policy, the monetary policies that are going to be driven here. Or are you guys waiting, right? You want us to get another surprise. And then when you get on airflow tomorrow, and then you will come back here, Samson to or Monica will come back here, knowing what I know now. If I knew that, I wouldn't have voted for this mayor. We are not off for that bull crap. We have had enough surprises, and I'm not about to open any cartoon with the hope there's a gift inside, but we having like a black.
I hate to bust your bubble, Mr. So and Mr.
Let me hear from you from Boyka side, and then we'll go to a general.
Yeah. No, I'm not speaking for Bakar. I'm speaking for myself.
No, I mean, okay, give your view, okay. Give your opinion.
But I hate to bust your bubble. First of all, you two have no voting right in Liberia. You can't come here and demand anything of the Liberian political leaders. Those are people that are going to be leading. You want demand? Go to Liberia and come and demand. I'm on my way to Liberia. Your conservative view will not take over here tonight. And Mr. Far Right, Central Right, your also view is not. This is not America. You guys are trying to take American system and immediately try for it to be applied in Liberia. Well, that's not what we're going to do. Let me tell you this. It maybe perhaps you guys don't understand, and I've been on here saying it all night. There is a process. There is a process that the four political parties agree on to carry out this process. And at the end of the process, the result, people who will now be the leader at the end of the process will then come out and give a statement. And in that statement, with the support of the collaborating political party, perhaps they will come out and say these are.
Why are you fooling yourself with this collaboration? Nothing has been collaborated. Nothing is holding. So why are you pretending?
Let me read this here for you. And I want to tell this person who wrote this, Imon Songawa. I mean, welcome by Mr. So. The liberal had too much time on himself trying to mandate the narrative here. But that is over. Far from it. It's not over. It's not over. I'm here and I have.
Are you distracted from viewers comment?
Yeah, because the viewer comment is trying to bamboozle me out of this show. But I'm not going anywhere. Now, Mr. So, let me just tell you this. At the end of the process, these people will now come and introduce whatever team they have. You want them to introduce a team to you, and which they are not standing by themselves. This is a collaborating political party. First of all, you guys are hoping that this thing will fail. It's not going to fail. Arizona coming going to be the second in command, and Dr. Bakker going to be the first in command. That's what it is.
You are here, Akame. So do you want to have Kumin second in command when you just say a few days ago ANC command they need to go? So how can you have somebody who you want to go to be second in command?
You got a clip for that?
I'm ready to play it right now. Let me pull it out.
No, we don't have much time. We don't have time to go to do those kinds of stuff. Let's move on, please.
Kishen.
Yeah.
Is that a fair question for God's sake? No, on a serious note.
It is a fair question. It is. Yeah. It is a fair question. But let me say this.
Specific people not to be the voices.
But this is the thing, Mr. So. It is a fair question. But before I get to that point, I want to tell Mr. Sampson that all the four political parties, they are operating, they stay operating the base. They had an agenda before coming into the CPP.
Right.
That agenda is there. You can't push your agenda aside because the CPP have not come up yet. Whoever wins the nomination for the CPP will have more saying in writing the agenda of the CPP. Fact. So just don't worry about that. I had an agenda before. You can't stop me to promote my agenda in case of anything that happened. Now let's go back. Look, if ANC was not in this collaboration, I will be honest with you, Mr. So. This time around, ANC was going to form a shadow government. I can promise you that. You know why we can't show the shadow government to say this man is the foreign minister, this man when they speak on foreign affairs, this guy will say this guy will, because the person who's going to win that nomination, he will be the one to appoint. Most of them will come from the CPP, but if that president is not satisfied with you, he got to go outside. Because not because they say you're part of the CPP, when they take you from UP or ALP, they must appoint you. No. When that president is not satisfied and they vet you and say, no, this guy got a problem, they will have to look outside for someone better. If ANC was on their own today, I'm telling you, what would they, because you see, the mistake we made in 2017, we capitalized on our mistakes and we're improving on it. By this time, I will tell you for sure, you will know the foreign minister you have known.
So let me ask you this question, Kishen.
Yes.
Do you think is it a mistake again now to form part of this collaboration?
Well, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. And I will be honest with you. First, I felt personally, I never wanted ANC to be in any collaboration, especially with the three parties, because I believe that the three parties, they are older guys, and they were going to come together to go against this one candidate, which is proving today, especially when Mr. Ure came out that day and said, well, I prefer Bwaka. That was the turning point. As a leader, there's nothing personal about you anymore. You be very careful what you say, because we're into a collaboration. You can do it at the end, at the primary, you can do that. Then when we look, Yombly came out. So right there, Mr. Cummings is on his own. But yet and still, Mr. Cummings is saying that no problem. Let's still go to the convention, because I trust the Liberian people, they will make the difference. And this is the problem here, Mr. Soto, today, that they've surprised. Mr. Cummings have changed the political landscape in Liberia, and you will understand what I'm saying today. According to our history, whenever election is over, all the politicians go in hiding. You never find them again until the year or a month to the elections. They start coming from America and start coming out to run. And then you can do nothing. You got no force. But what Mr. Cummings did, after the election, he took his 3 months break. He came back and went and started to travel to reintroduce himself and continue to go from counties to counties. Because according to the framework, the delegates are coming from the county, the 73 district, the 15 counties. So Mr. Cummings know with me, he said, listen, I will go there and meet them. I must sell myself. It's not a job that I'm looking for. I got to take my resume to an HR. No, I must go and meet the people. So he been to Grand Gita, Lofa, all over. And today he's still going. Now, this is what they saw. They said, oh, something is not going right here. After 3 years, Mr. Bwaka came out. Mr. Cummings are gone far. And that is where the delegates are coming from. So we are confident. When the CP were put together, Mr. Ure have not traveled to no counties, only in Monrovia, Montserrat, but Monrovia especially. When Mr. Cummings took over, he opens all the offices and CPP in the counties. Today, every county in the Republic of Liberia have a CPP office. It was opened by Alexander Cummings. And Alexander Cummings, everywhere he went, he said, listen, I'm here for CPP. He meets with CPP delegates. He meets with the UP, the ALP, and whatsoever. Then when Yombly took over, she never traveled.
Okay,
she went to Basel. So that confidence is there. So that's why we will win it. I will win delegate from UP. I will win delegate from ALP, and I will win delegate from ANC.
So okay, let's put short trust here. I'm gonna bring in George and the Liberal here, because to be honest, the future of the collaboration, and I'm gonna just say as it is. It's like a hanking garden. Why? Because folks from both sides, they have deployed and created all sort of conspiracy, falsehood, hard class of propaganda. One way or the other to support each of the party or which side they ever found themselves, and all sort of the process now it looks like a fraud. They just created a thing. This going to happen. That's going to happen. Mr. George.
Yeah.
Can we trust the process right now with in the collaboration. And I know people are going to say, okay, these things always happen in politics. And Samson told you, like, you can take a whole gallon of water. I don't care. You take a whole gallon, you deserve that. But seeing what we're saying, supporters of the ANC, supporters of a unity party, people are throwing tantrum. They are doing, they are not helping the process. They are not creating the situation to stabilize the conversation. So to the extent their leaders are all distracted as
You
well.
changing it, now?
Do you think it's going to help the process? Where do you think we're going to find ourselves at the end? Money we are getting you. So when you say anything that way, yeah, go ahead, Pa Joyce.
The political leader of the institution are the major problems because they are the one who can control.
Do you have a fan or something running there?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna go my phone.
Man, we have to be in Dukona. It's all you take all time here. You run it.
They are the people who control the laws. They lack, many of them lack the capacity to control these followers. So at the result, you see it's it's the thing.
Yeah, on social.
Okay, go ahead.
And here's the thing here. When this allegation came up, the people came to handle the situation. There was no leadership at the time. Nobody exhibited any leadership. People were playing games, taking sides, trying to score points. And at the result of the Liberian people, they are the victim of this situation. Because this is the group, the Liberian people, looking out to the alternative, to George Weah, and seeing what the attitude look like today. Very shocking. Not even shocking, it's not surprising to some of us, because some of the characters in this thing, we know them. Yeah, it's the thing. Normally kind of leadership, look what the CPP. Look at this one feeling. Every have break loose. Petro scattered on our leadership. Broke the core. You only just broke the core CPP. Shoot. CPP to destroy the CPP. Now, I always say this. The man that everybody in the country they're yelling is a statement. Honorable Dr. Joseph Boakai. Since he took on this CPP leadership, with this chaos in the institution, Mr. So, what has he done? That people will say, oh, you know what I mean? He's trying to bring this thing back together. What has he done? Nothing. But there's a man, the people are lifting Samson told and lifting her way up as a leader to be the next leader of the country. This man, Dr. Boakai, is politically in bed with Costa. Costa that was throwing all the insult to everybody. And I was saying that it was Dr. Costa to insult everybody. Boakai, he did that. He did that. Dr. Boakai is the one that did that. And he was. What is the leadership?
We're having a background. Is that from? Okay, let me see. Kishan.
Yeah.
I think we're getting some background noise on your end. That okay. Yeah, go ahead. So,
Joseph Boakai, they talk about this statement. Says he talk about the CPP. When last did you hear him say, okay, no, I have proposed a meeting for commies, pending our you're making out, so we can sit down to mend these differences. You have not heard from him. What he did, he went on a show and re-echoed the same thing that Yomli Kanga said. That it was on a coming watch. There was no problem. And Comey is responsible for that because it was under his watch, so he take responsibility. That was Joe Boakai words the other day on the show. Now, if he sees that after the lawyer come up with this finding, It means that Joseph Walker don't believe in what the lawyer said. So, Mr. So now, where is the faith of the Liberian people? That's why I said the 4 political leaders, they have failed the Liberian people as we speak now, because they got the people confused. And nobody is coming out to put this thing in a direction. Joseph Walker now is standing on his own that, hey, I'm the president waiting. And there's another coming saying, hey, I will be the next president. This is the part that crisis Liberia is in now. How they're going to resolve it, I'm waiting here to see it. Maybe there's a Mr. Samson Bokuto can comment, and maybe Mr. Kishan can show the way forward. That they are the one who close to these people. How they're going to handle this thing now? That is the $64 million question to them. How are they going to handle this thing? Because I see Bwaka going way far left, communists going far right. How are they going to come together now?
And I was hearing one another saying, "Oh, this person should have gotten a laissez-passer or permit before they can go." What the heck these people are talking about? Look, this problem here, it's over. No, I heard the other day they were talking. Oh, comment, why is he in Bon County? Why is Boyka on this side here? Look, this whole process probably they would have adopted a CDC method of selecting their leader. That would have been the best way, because why? From time to time, something until you can stretch your eyes any kind of way, it's not going to do me anything. We know the history of the opposition's alliances in Liberia. It has never worked, and there's nothing, because why? It started on a by-footing by 4 group of people putting together. They allow somebody to indict. So, that was just, and all of these people, they didn't say anything, and they think they're going to fix right now. Something to, let's give you a day.
Mr. So, like I said from the beginning, I'm not here for the kumbaya here, and that's not what I do, but I'll be truthful. I will be truthful. I'm not too particular about these type of monologue that we come out and make these kinds of statements from here and stuff here. I'm not too sure who are you and Mr. Joyce are trying to lecture here tonight, but I'm not moved by it at all. Now, as far as ANC is concerned, I love these people, and they are very, very good people. There's no question asked. But one of the things that come out, and I think you heard the general making that statement here, that when Kumi were in charge, things were smooth. But what they don't try to mention, things were smooth on Kumi's because the rest of the political party leaders, they were cooperating with Cummings. And so that's what things, if they were not cooperating with Cummings, things would not be smooth.
No,
I want to remind them this. Mr. George, please. I know you're a good friend. I know we say you're getting ready to travel and all that kind of good stuff. We say we love you and we continue to pray for you.
I'm not traveling anywhere. You told me say I should go before you will go, so I'm not going. If you're afraid to go, why you want me to go?
No, because when you go to Liberia, with your central right view, when you go to Liberia and CDC don't whoop you, they must say, "Oh, come," then they will not touch me because they're not liberal. But if you go to Liberia and you have problem with them, they are not coming because I know where I get it, they will beat me too. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point that I'm trying to make here, Mr. So, is this. I think this entire process, they're in it now. Our people say, when you get into water, when it's cold, you stay in one thing, or you try to get out. I'm not too sure what will happen. But what I do believe, I think all of them, they're committed because they know themselves that the Liberian people have pinned their hopes on these 4 political leaders. And it doesn't matter whether they like each other or not, but they're going to have to do what they have to do to make sure the Liberian country and the people of Liberia continue to survive. That they're committed to that. And I can see that commitment from any one of those people. However, what I do also believe is this. At this stage of the game, for us to sit here why this process is going on, and then trying to say, why didn't they do this? It's a spilled milk. When I'm gonna, this is the liberal. I don't go back on those things. They're done. I'm looking at things from the future, because that's what my life will be, not in the past. Therefore, Mr. So, let me conclude this here to say this. All three of you here are good friends, and I respect you guys. But what I don't want is for any of you to lecture the liberal on any of your conservative view. I will not take it, and those type of view don't even come facing me. Therefore, I will say to you, once again, the next president, my view, because I believe in him, the next president and the next stabilizer of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Bakai. That's it. Nothing else. You do anything as Liberian, you do anything other than bringing Dr. Bakai in, don't blame me.
Okay, let's start taking call and now go to Kishan. Kishan, let's get the first caller here. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
How you doing, Apostle? This is Bert.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before I say any other thing, can I ask by Josh so that he can just explain in 30 seconds? By Josh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask you this question.
Can you?
You said was it wrong to say to the Liberian people it was under the watch of Honorable Alexander Benedict Cummings that anything that happened to the document is the responsibility, a complete responsibility of that? Can you please tell the Liberian people, because
okay, what yeah, what we're going to do? Yeah, no, that we will not have time for that. What he will respond, we will talk about it, but just make your point because other people on the phone.
Thank you, Apostle. The generals asked the old man this gone Sunday in a gathering. And it is a same general. I always watch his show. It is a same general. He come on his show, he and Octavius Gamer come on their show, then they break the old man. It is a kind of a leadership that ANC will produce in future by denigrating another political party leader. Because when he asked the old man that day about Henry Costa, the answer the old man gave was, I should have the responsibility, and he went as far as giving parable about 25 nails to be planted on the plant. When you take one, what happened? And it explains itself. So, Mr. Kishan, will you tell the Liberian people whatsoever you've been saying on your show, it is wrong?
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. So.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, I will come to you guys. Let me go to the number. Please make it brief as possible as you can. 646 number 4801. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Charles Tiadi. I'm calling from Staten Island, New York.
All right, Brother Charles. Good evening and welcome. Go ahead. What's the point?
Yeah, thank you for the program. What I see here is that, I mean, we are looking at two issues. One of the side is saying that the document is temporary.
Right.
And another side is saying that, oh, no, the document was not temporary. So are you telling me this is a very simple issue? Very, very simple issue for people who want to come and take over country to run the country. Are you telling me that this kind of a simple issue, the parties are not able to find solution to this issue, and they will want to get apart? I think there is something like a deceit here, that I see here. There is deceit in this whole thing because this thing is very simple. Let's look at the CDC now. The CDC now is controlling the entire country. The collaboration of political parties, they have just few people to deal with. And they have this kind of a simple issue, and they can resolve it. And you think that Nigerian people should be able to look at them to give them power? I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I'll make it brief. Let me go back to my commentators. Oh my goodness. What's the next number? I gotta go back to the guys first before I can take somebody else here now. 571 number tie 5924. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Pastor, how are you doing? This is Emmanuel Simon. I called me from here.
Welcome, Amen. Go ahead.
So, I'll be very brief. Let me just say this. The problem with Liberia from 1822 up to present is not leadership. It's just the ordinary people. They are hard to learn. Very hard to learn. Look around, look at the people who say they want to be the future leader of this country. First of all, let's look at Joseph Barker. Joseph Barker went in the church and said, or he had a press conference and said, or the Liberian people give a man's job to a boy. He went for a program in the United States. A 47-year-old boy told him what to say. You see the contradiction? Look, the whole thing that happened in the opposition is not about someone figuring documents. You guys don't understand it. The same strategy that the opposition of the Ledo used on him, they freed him. They got a lobbyist and lie on him. They freed debt around him. He poured into it and started killing his own people. It's the same strategy they used on Joshua. Unfortunately for the opposition, Joshua is not falling for it. He started killing anybody. There is no political prisoner. The 180,000 that they got paid in America here to lie on the government, to free the government, they are shooting themselves in the legs with guns. And the last thing, the government running behind them. So now because they won Rado County and they won few seats, now they feel that they can win the presidential election. That's where the fight is coming from.
Okay.
The ANC feel that the ANC feel that if the United Party wins the election, they will have no say. United Party also feel that if ANC wins the election, ANC bring a whole group from overseas. This is a power struggle that these guys feel that somebody can win the election because their lies that they are doing for getting money people is working. When they're being exposed, the same strategy that Malam Salif, Evan Sawyer, people tell they use against those,
okay.
Go fall into that trap, they start killing people. It's the same strategy the guy using on Georgia.
All right, thank you so much. Let me go to the next caller now so we can get. All right, thank you so much. Okay, 612 number 612-3309. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing, sir?
Good evening. So welcome. Go ahead quickly.
Yes, I just want to rebuttal the party one's allegations in the session.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's not because you repeat a lie 10 times makes it true. No matter how many times you repeat a lie, it's still a lie. He claimed that Mr. Cummings should take responsibility because something allegation that is yet to be proven happened under his leadership. Well, let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's go ahead and investigate and see what really did happen. And as far as where we are right now, the conclusion is in Joseph Barker's hands. The ball is in his court. The lawyer had written to him, and they had told him exactly that part they played and what they did. The lawyer even advised them that this allegation, this lie, and this information they're carrying, how dangerous it is, how it could potentially, derail the whole process that they have worked tirelessly to put together. Having said that, let me go to something to Mr. Toh. I mean, I hear you talking. I begin to, when I close my eye, imagine. I said, well, everybody have their own fangon. It seems that Joseph Barker have managed to acquisite his own fangon. You sound more like Eugene Fangon. I mean, you're talking about Joseph Barker them should run campaign. The only time they can tell the Liberian people what they're going to do for them is when they get the nomination. Are you serious? And the very notion that anybody would say that, you here, let me ask you, Mr. Toh, somebody lie on you, the fake character, and you say, you know what? Nobody was saying, let's go ahead and investigate. Let's go through it. Let's go to the bottom line. And you said nobody showed leadership. I think, in my opinion, Alexander Cummings has shown the most leadership.
Okay.
Because through his leadership, the CPP gained and acquired. The CPP were established. The foundation of the CPP were planted. The CPP wants seats. The CPP have a structure now, have political and offices around the country.
Okay.
What happened between?
All right. Let me
last say to Padenoa, I respect you, my daddy, but please don't get caught up in this thing and defame a good man character.
All right.
Mr. Kishan had never insulted Joseph Numa Barker on his show. No, he had denigrated Joseph Numa Barker. Mr. Kishan had always speak to the issue. And it's sad for you to make such a frivolous allegation against Mr. Kishan.
Right.
I think it's wrong. I think you owe an apology.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Guys, okay, 267 number 6651. Are you there? Go ahead quickly. Let me go back to my guys.
Sure, I'm here. Good evening, Mr. So, and thank you for this fantastic show as always. I want to say good evening to my general, good evening to the liberal progressive, and good evening to every other one person that are listening to us. Look, the crux of the matter here with the whole CPP is like Liberian men always talk about they follow the rules, but when the rules apply to him or her, they don't want to follow it. The matter here today is that nobody want to go into a competition. CPP was created to endorse Joseph Numa Barker in the eyes of the Unity Party people. They always talk about, oh, we are the bigger party. The framework document says everyone is equal. That's why each one of them had 310 delegates. If there was a big party, small party, then ALP was not gotten 300. That's why they can understand that. Now, two candidates said they don't want to be president. Waka and Yombi Kanga, not Waka, I'm sorry, Mr. Yure and Yombi Kanga said they don't want to be president. So we meet two candidates, Mr. Waka, His Excellency, and Mr. Cummings. So guess what? We have to go to the primary because consensus will not hold. The VPS will not hold. So why waste our time? Let's go to the primary. If Mr. Waka wins today, then we support him. If Mr. Cummings wins also, we support him. But you will never ever hear in His Excellency Joseph Numa Barker mouth that, oh, if I don't win, I will support Mr. Cummings. We have done heard that publicly. So please, if you have time and if he comes on your show, be asking that question. Will you support Mr. Cummings in the case that you don't win?
All right.
I mean, leadership has to be shown here.
Let's leave it there, Gay. Thank you so much. Okay, are you there, caller?
I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, I just want to contribute a little bit. The
Yeah.
CPP or the ALP or LP or whatsoever, all of them are greedy set of people. All the following, including Kishan, all of them, they are greedy set of people because they don't mean work for the Liberian people. Because the purpose of organizing CPP was for one political party. Nobody knows ANC as the election commission. They only know CPP. Nobody knows UP as the election commission. Only CPP they know. All of them, they are not political party. So I see all our surrogates going around being greedy. That greediness inside all of them. And this is why they're going to present to the Liberian people that all of them greedy, all of them protecting the political party, these are nothing. This is not how the CPP were organized for. The CPP were not organized for Kishan to preach for Komi, for Costa to preach for ALP, Costa for ALP, for the other people to be attacking one another. They were organized to bring one person as a new fire among them. It was not organized for all of them to be greedy person all around. It is shown to the Liberian people that these people, they're going to be very greedy, sell that kind of way. They are very greedy set of people. They're not putting themselves together. Why are they attacking each other? Why everybody saying something about the other person? Why the other person saying about the other person? The other person get about it. Even the ANC, the Secretary General spoke against humiliated broadcast. Coming didn't say a word. All of them doing the same thing.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Let me go back to the guys. Kishan, I believe the ball was stopped for you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. So. And some of the things I'm supposed to say about some other guys, answer it. You know, it's very hard to really tarnish a very good man reputation, especially at one of those who I do not insult on my show. I've never insulted Mr. Boaka. I stick with the issue. I will compare no matter what, whether they like it or not. But I just want to address the last man that just spoke. You know, this is the problem we're facing in Liberia today. When we don't read and we listen to people and we follow it, it's wrong. The four political parties came together. This document said every political party must engage the other parties to be able to win the nomination. How will you engage them? You must sell yourself. And then you go to the convention and do everything. But this man is saying that we should just shut up, don't say nothing, and just from the blue sky, I don't know how we just choose one person or even arguing. So you see, he himself is out of the show. So I will stop him there. I'm not going to argue. I think he just make himself look small already. Now, this whole CPP thing, and I asked Mr. Bwaka a question. The young man who asked that attack me, he himself don't even know the question I asked Mr. Bwaka. I asked Mr. Bwaka that there are a lot of things going on. I need unity within the CPP. Mr. Bwaka, we are on social media and people insulting each other, and there's a tape out there in the presence of George Lobo. Mr. Costa said Mr. Cummings is a criminal. Do you believe, because according to you, you got a very good relationship with Mr. Cummings, do you believe that Mr. Cummings is a criminal? And Mr. Bwaka said, I've never called Mr. Cummings criminal, and I will not allow anyone call him criminal. Even in my family, they will not call him criminal. If it ever happened, then he talked about the stick and the nail. He said 37 nails. He himself never paid attention, never said 25. 37 nails. Every time the guy got pissed off, he put one nail in there. And as you remove the nail, the scar, to damage a man, to criticize or to damage a man's character, that the worst thing you will ever do, because that damage will remain. Whether you apologize, it remains. Then he said, if someone did it, I am sorry. He never said I took responsibility. He said, I am sorry. But I accept it. It's not a dialogue when it comes to town hall meeting. Because if we're having a dialogue, I would tell you, say, no, Mr. Bwaka, take off the if. Because if I tell you, say, well, Alfonso, if you think I insult you, sorry. It's not an apology for me. But I gave him 85 or 80% of that because he said, I am sorry. Because he knew exactly who said it. So that is passed. That's the question I asked. So if people come about the CPP, let me tell you guys today, do you want for the CPP to hold? Yes. You believe that the CPP will hold? No. We are the one that holding the CPP. I have never one day heard an ANC member on air saying that we need to break the CPP. We need to break it down. We need to leave. We need to leave. The ANC is not going anywhere. I speak today and take it anywhere. We will not leave the CPP. We work for the CPP, but we heard the other side. And take this from me today. By the end of December, I know they're going to go to court. Bena, you are going to start the process to get out of the CPP. The VP, the consensus bill is not going to work. The VP is not going to work. We must go to the convention. Mr. Cummings, I said it over and over. I will support Mr. Bwaka if he wins the convention. If I win it, they said they're not going to support, but that's it. If they want to leave, they can go to court. That document, that's the problem we have in Liberia. We do not respect what we sign, what we put our signature to. We will not break up the CPP. We will keep the CPP. Like Turner and her husband, she said, I don't want any money from you, but I will keep the need Turner. We work for the CPP. We went around the country. We continue to promote CPP. If they don't want to stay in the CPP, we will keep the CPP. Okay. They can go. That consensus, but maybe they have not read the document yet. They need to read it and understand what the type of consensus. So they need to read that.
All right. So the Liberal.
Yes.
I am getting nervous. Oh, my legs. I'm getting nervous and really afraid to see what is unfolding. Afraid on the sense from the opposition. And I will say it. And I'm going to take it from if the opposition is to take over the justice system. There were serious charges levied against a major actor potentially who wants to be a president of the Republic of Liberia, Mr. George. And I know you're going to flip up again. And somebody called here because Ambassador Boykas, who happens to be the old hand into this whole thing, and rehash or re-echo the sound bites that we saw coming from other folks to say, yeah, it happens on his watch. So that itself is an indictment. Where is this investigation? it was alleged of a crime being committed. When will we get to know this? It's also commensurate with to see all of the crazy thing that is going on, and we can't get no answer. Here we are. I don't know how many months now. It was alleged document were tampered with, and these people potentially, if they to win 2023, they will be in charge of the Department of Justice. They will be running the police. They will be in charge of the security apparatus, and people will be accused of a crime. And we're going to have an endless justice investigation. Where is this? Where is the report of this investigation so as to settle this freaking dust once and for all, so we all will know who is the criminal, so that we will all know if there's a criminal, that criminal should not get close to the higher office of the land. Where is the report?
Yes.
Let me say this.
I want a liberal to answer that question.
Yeah. Right.
They are in. Where is the report?
Well, Mr. So, I think whenever you and I get on the show,
I want an answer. Do not take a breath here. That's not going to make me to empathize with you. I just want your honest answer, and this is the answer all Liberians are yearning for. Where, if I'm accused of a crime, if I'm alleged accused of a crime, and the investigation is being conducted, and the investigations are concluded, there is a report to either indict or vindicate me. Where is this report?
Mr. So, you and the Liberian people that you're making reference to are not going to force me to do what I don't do. I will not, because I want to, because you think I'm here to certify you and the Liberian people. Far from it. I'm here to speak my mind, and I will do so without any fear whatsoever. What are you or Mr. George, the center?
So are you interested in the report?
Mr. So, let
me ask you, because you are trying to sell address here. It's after 9. I don't eat salad after 9 o'clock.
Mr. So, look, let me just tell you this. Let me just tell you, because this issue that you're bringing up, you know very well is my weak point. You know very well that's my Achilles heel. And now, because I'm trying to reach you.
Are you hearing what you say?
Yeah, you heard it.
You eating more time. You eating more time.
No. You guys are this. You're not going to push me off. Let me just say this, Mr. So. This entire issue, as far as I'm concerned, it's in the back view mirror. We're going to deal with it. They will. We got people, credible people on both sides. They will deal with it. Now, you know that very well. And you know, Mr. So, I'm not comfortable with the kind of language that was used to describe another Liberian, specifically from Costa. I'm not comfortable.
You never spoke.
I've been saying it for years and years.
You never spoke. You never speak out on
Mr.
that.
So, on my show, Mr. George, you guys been watching. I said here on my show, I brought Mr. Baka picture and I said, Honorable, I'm not comfortable with the people that you're hanging with, because if these are the phases of Baka movement, then I'm not comfortable, because I too I'm not on board with the insult. These are Liberian, credible Liberian, and I went on for over an hour bringing the same subject matter up. So I don't want to talk about it any more than you do, because these are things in the past. This is what I'm going to say to you, Mr. So. The collaborating political party, and I agree with the general for once. The collaboration process is going to hold, and it must hold. Now, Mr. Kumi was on Liberian Public Radio the last time, where he disabused me of the notion of making him to go second. He said,
"You're still pushing the narrative."
So the liberal is speaking, please. He said, "Those of you that are pushing me to go second, the game have not even started, and you want me to now to just say yes." Then why you brought us here? He said, "Go to the primary or go whatever process it is. If you think I'm doing good, vote for me. If you think Dr. Baka is doing good, vote for Dr. Baka. But don't let the games end before it even start." And I think that's a good point. That's a good point. Now, having said that, I also have tried my best to see how best we can come together. Because once again, let me just say this here. Not one person, not Dr. Baka alone, not any of these people alone will be able to defeat Dr. Weah. Far from it. That I know. Now, my point is, Why would we insult people? And even if my matter, if my suggestion, if my mindset is true that Dr. Barker becomes the standard bearer of CPP, what face do we have now to go and talk to ANC to come join us, having denigrated their leadership? Why will you do another Liberians and then because you want the people to come support you, what will you say to them? And I thought Dr. Barker's statement that the general made here during it was I felt bad for Custer, because if you think about it, he threw Custer under the bus, which in fact was a good statement to say. If you insult anybody, if you say anything about another Liberian, the scarf that's going to be on him, it cannot be removed. This is the true leadership of a gentleman. Now, you also have to understand that Dr. Barker has the young people as his supporters. He's not going to come out in public and try to degrade these people. He might have to do that, but that will be done in private. This is how you deal with your children. Dr. Barker, all the way, Mr. So please don't come out here and come and bring your conservative view. You want to bring Amos Joyce here tonight, but without me knowing that he's even coming to ambush me. It ain't happening. Both of you, there's no. Where is the citizen professor? You can't do nothing to me.
Don't dilute the conversation.
No,
don't dilute the conversation. Monique Kishian, before I go to Amos Joyce.
Yeah.
I see the ultimate settlers of this whole nonsense, the conspiracies, the innuendos, the fake news, the big lies of all of this whole thing that brought chaos into this opposition, and the leaders are just deliberately on purpose ignoring it, not to address it. Is the big lies, like the Donald Trump type of lie. Where is this report? The report will be the one to settle the score once and for all, and to restore the credibility, the damages being done to this whole thing here. Where is the report? Do you have it? Do you know where is it? Who is holding up to it? As Joseph Boyka, he's the big dog in the house.
Mr. So,
and somebody should take somebody should take responsibility. Something Tor here is trying to window dress something. It's not yet Christmas time. You remember when John McCain was campaigning and somebody
oh my goodness,
John McCain movement. Yeah,
there we go again. There we go again.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. The John McCain movement. Yeah,
that's the fact.
The John McCain movement.
This does not represent me. It is not my doing. You don't want to do it. You're coming with Solomon Wisdom 37 nil, 50 nil. I don't have time for that. Yeah. Look, we need to call these people out. They are dangerous to the country, and we need to say it as it is.
Mr. So, let me say this. Mr. Cummings, on a town hall meeting that I was one of the moderator, made it clear. Someone asking a question about a luscious store. He said it was wrong, and they're going to make sure that it don't happen anymore. No one within his circle will come out and insult another candidate. And Mr. Cummings continued to send that message to us that usually have a Zoom or meeting and say, listen, right now, I won't just come out and say, I would never insult Mr. Barker because tomorrow I could campaign for him. But Mr. Cummings has made it clear. That is why when you notice some of the CPP, the ANC guys.
Why you don't even talk about your people, your support? Why you don't even talk about their policies?
Okay, but that's what we try, Mr. So, I don't want to speak for other people. I know I do it all the time. I continue to sell Mr. Cummings, but as my responsibility. And to the Liberian people, I'm not here to promote myself. I am here to sell Mr. Cummings. But let us be honest. You said something. You said Liberians will need to come up straight. If Mr. Cummings was the chairman of CPP and this information came out, simple way to solve it. The last people that handled the document was the lawyers. He will call the lawyers, and at the suggestion he made, call the lawyers and ask them if this is what you did and compare it. But instead, we start to push it around. The document is with Mr. Boyka today. But guess what? The document, we saw it on the internet. We got copies of that letter. But that letter was not officially given to ANC. We found that letter on the internet. Yombly exposed that letter. She gave it to whoever she want to give it to. And we got a copy of it. But today, it's still in the possession of Mr. Boyka. So all these things are going on. If you accuse a man of doing something, what he did, then he take responsibility. when you go and steal, you steal to get rich or to steal something. What Mr. Cummings did to benefit him. Nobody can tell Mr. Cummings what he changed and how will he change it. One thing I would say, in the letter on number 3, the lawyer said we were instructed and we did what? And so there was a substance and structure done to the CPP document, and we presented it to the 4 leaders and we explained, and that's it. So why we can be honest and call the other 3 leaders and say, listen, guys, y'all need to come up with a report. Mr. Cummings is just sitting there doing what he's supposed to do.
All right, let me say this, and I know you're going to tip people off here crazy before I go to George. The way the 4 political parties, especially the ANC and Unity Party, behaving like a toddlers, if you don't take that in as bad as it is, George, we will be here. I'm telling you.
I don't want to believe it, Mr. So.
Oh, you don't want to believe it?
No, Mr. So, I can defend that. I can tell you it's not.
Politics. You don't have to believe it. I'm just
giving
my opinion.
I know you assume it. I agree with you.
Not settled. If this is not settled, if the opposition cannot reassure Liberian of what they are trying to offer, their alternative, what they are trying to put to the table, you just leave it. Amos George.
Yeah, look, there are a whole lot have been said, and let me just say something. The first caller, this guy asked me about taking responsibility on a watch. If you're listening, oh man, that was an allegation. People take responsibility when there's a full report to conclude that something was done right or wrong, that someone take responsibility. But it was an allegation. So since that report, the official report has not come out, why you want me to tell you that commission take full responsibility of allegation that was made? When the report come up and say, yes, unaccompanied wife, these things were changed. Unaccompanied wife, this is what went wrong. Then you can say, take responsibility. But I was shocked to see the vice president, former vice president, telling that same line that Comey should take responsibility for happening unaccompanied wife. So
what happened?
The vice president has the report that have already,
George, was it on I was disappointed. And that's why people, when you sit behind the microphone, you should be very calculative and think ahead. By the time the persons that you are interviewing before they land, you must know should be the follow-up question. Because if I was interviewing the vice president, and then for him to have said to say it happened on a common wife on spoon, was that on spoon? Or?
No, on the issue room. On the issue room with Volcano Shelter. Yeah.
I would ask that question, what happened? I mean, because you left the audience with ambiguity. People, you leave them with speculation. Okay, let's say Nyombli said that, but Nyombli is not in the picture right now. You are re-echoing what Nyombli says. So perhaps you have more details, information that we do now. So I will ask that question, what happened, Mr. Vice President? He did not ask that question. That's the failure on the part of people too in the media to push the line.
I agree with you.
Simply
but 3 veterans sitting out there and one asked that question. I was sitting there scratching my head. And Mr. Toh, here's the thing. The VP did not quote Yomli. He was saying it himself. He didn't say, oh, Yomli said, no. He said, line for line, that it was under his watch. And if anything went wrong under his watch, whether he did it or not, he should take full responsibility. And what I expected, those veterans, the follow-up question is, what went wrong? Can you pinpoint that as to us? It was left at that. I think they did it on purpose. They did it on purpose because these people are they are veterans. They did it on purpose. And this is why some of the things I'm seeing. Now, the issue that people are raising that the vice president 32 and 37 nails. No, oh man. Mr. Boakai, Costa had gone after you. So your response they are twofold. It means that Baka will now forgive Costa because when Costa insulted during the 2017 election,
yes.
So it means that one, he will not forgive Mr. Costa. So Mr. Costa must be very careful of that answer that he gave, that the sky will remain forever. The person will never forget. So in other words, he telling Costa, you insulted him before. So that sky is still with me. So what are you doing? It's just waste of time.
Okay.
Baka cannot play. He playing double standard. Because if he knew that Costa had insulted people, somebody that he had known for years, why Baka cannot come out to say, yes, what Costa did was wrong, and I have told him not to do it again. This close voting is what's spoiling Liberia. This close voting. Baka took the put Costa in charge of the publicity, whatever, when he was coming to the state. And if he knew that this man had insulted somebody, why didn't he call upon him to say, you must go to the public and apologize to these people? Why he didn't do it? He didn't do it. He chose to be responsible for his official coming to America. So it means that he can buy VP, but he cannot have both ways.
Before we go to the liberal here,
it means that he supporting Costa to do this thing. And to the liberal, let me tell you this thing. 2008 campaign, Jeremiah Walker, the Reverend, who said a racist thing about Obama, about the people. Obama has to go to call a press conference to denounce Reverend Jeremiah Wright in Philadelphia. Say he was disassociating himself with Jeremiah Wright. So why Baka cannot do the same thing?
Okay. So let me go to the liberal with a Walmart County. He who rides the back of the alligator eventually enters the guts of the alligator.
Yep.
So the liberal, we are about to go. But let me just say this. The ambassador, I have followed the work of Ambassador Boyka. To be honest, he's an honest guy. And I said this one time before, the recent Samuel Doe fire, it was not for corruption. People didn't know the story. It was not corruption. But I can tell you, and you just mark it, he's a career diplomat. He's a career seasoned politician. Seeing what I'm saying and what is unfolding. Mr. Costa, when Boyka is elected, I will find it very difficult to get him at certain places because he has declassified everything, and that would be the fear if Boyka is elected. People want to have people that they trust in him. And that's exactly the interpretation of Amos Joy. The liberal, we are about to go.
Yeah, my last word here that I will say before I take leave of you here. First of all, I want to thank you very much for having me tonight. Mr. George, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it, and we continue to have you in our prayers, of course. The general, thank you very much for even getting up your show to join us here. This is what it means by community, because we're not here we might disagree on a lot of stuff, but the intent here is to have the discussion and so that we can find solution. And I really, really appreciate you taking time from your own platform to join us here and have this discussion.
We need to be having this sort of conversation. I really appreciate that.
Mr. So, the liberal is speaking to the general. And you're not even part of this general business. So please stay out of it.
Oh my goodness!
Speaking to the general. So general, thank you very much. There we go. So general, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's continue to have these kinds of conversations. Now, I'm also going to be saying here, and I was given the permission to say so. Friday evening, I will be hosting former president of EULA, Anthony Kessery, former public policy advisor to the former VP, Mr. Anthony Kessery will be our guest here on Friday evening. And I hope we will have a fruitful discussion. And the fact that I support Bakai, anytime, even if Dr. Bakai is to come on my show,
why you didn't say here to me? You're somebody that is
Mr. So, Mr. So, let me finish. The fact that I support Baka, if Anthony Kessery come on my show, Honorable Anthony Kessery, former president of EULA, comes on my show, we will be truthful. We will ask some tough questions because this is about Liberia. It is not about me. I believe in Dr. Baka. It is not because I don't even know him. The only thing he has done, one of his program he has, and one of my family members was able to benefit from his program. But besides that, everything is fine, Mr. So. I will say thank you very much. I'm going to have to take leave of you, Mr. George. Thank you very much, and I will say good night to all of you.
Is that a proper quote? Who benefited so that people, somebody benefited? Is that what has been your talking point here, the laborer?
No. Let me explain this. Dr. Barker, when he was vice president, had a program for amputees in Liberia. And I think he mentioned that one time. For amputees in Liberia, where young people, young amputees in Liberia, he put them together and established a program and fly them to the United States. And these people will be giving prosthetics and stuff like that to go back home. And when they grow out of that particular process, then they will come back again and get refitted. So that's the kinds of program.
Okay. I get one of those. All right. I don't know who said please invite us. I don't know your identity, so if you can send us a message, of course. And I think we want to the laborer before. I think we need to hold people, and I really appreciate Kishan that we have reached out to other people, because these are the people that are talking for these politicians. We also, because they also have a greater share into this conversation. We need to be holding them, because some of them too, their talks are so ridiculous. They just do not even have the guts when their leaders are going wrong to tell them, because they still kind of whatever loyalty. So I really want to give it out to Kishen. He always willing to come here. These people who have taken definitive position, we need to have conversation with them why they are support, because many of them are supported people in the past, and then they kind of, oh, if I knew what I know now, no. I don't want that obituary.
So let me just, if you don't mind, sir, let me just conclude before I take leave. I say thank you. Please tune in on Friday. Samson Tour, the liberal.
Am I invited to be
No,
part?
you're not. No, you and Mr. George will not be invited. You and Mr. George will not be invited.
Is that a boycott at first? Kishen, you're here. The man said we're not invited.
No, hey, the man won't deal with Barker alone. Yeah.
I'm not inviting you because you're there. No, I'm not inviting you. Your conservative view is not the kind of view that Liberian people want to hear anyway. So I'm not inviting both of you.
All right. So yeah, we'll try to run up to ask some people here who support the different political parties. We are not actually interested. You got to be in the beltway, got to be higher up. No, these people, they have their reason. We need to talk to all Liberians. So maybe we'll try to find out something here for us to have. So can you discuss the MCC scorecard? Okay, yeah, we'll try to take on that, Mr. Zidi. Kishen, what's your last word?
Okay, I want to say this, and I want to say thanks to everyone. And Mr. So, I want to be honest with you. That is why I was very happy when you had an interview with Mr. Cummings. It's not because I'm on this show. I follow you so many times, and I knew you from Liberia, but you never knew me. I would want to say you are one of our finest journalists, and I watched the
do you have a problem with that?
Yes, I would say no. Something to Samson, Mr. Brown. Let's all be honest.
Right, you see, I need to take something off the screen.
Yeah, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know. I listen to people when they ask questions, and most of the good journalists, when they ask you question, when you answer, the next question comes from your answer. That is what I had a little problem with the issue room. They are journalists, but I think they were a little afraid. I could see the fear in them not to ask questions too much on the broad, because even I listened to Shelton when he was trying to say, Mr. VP, will you accept? Then he said, oh, he took that deep breath and he brought it up, and Mr. Barker just brushed over it. Well, we got to go to the consensus building, we got to go to VPS before the process. If, and you know that word, if. But I want to say this, and if you permit me, and I want to give this short announcement. I know it will not look, but that's my peeve. The ANC will be having a convention November 19th to the 21st. Wow. I asked all ANC members, and Mr. So, if you be in North Carolina, it will be held in North Carolina. Mr. Cummings will be there. It's an ANC Global Convention. I will be held in North Carolina from the 21st to the 19th to the 21st. And also, I know I'm still on the map. I'm bereaved. My mother-in-law passed. We'll be having a funeral this coming Saturday, and I want to say thanks to you. But to everybody, Liberians, especially if you're listening to me today, please let us be safer. Let us respect the people that we campaign for. Let us stick to the issue, but you can still compare records. You can still sell your candidates and say why your candidate is better than this man without profanity, without insulting. So I think that should be the real issue. And Mr. Cummings is very strong on that with us. He continued to say, let us have a clean campaign. Let us have a clean campaign. And I want to say this today, Mr. So, Mr. Cummings is the one that holding the CPP. Whether we like it or not, you ask him in his dream, he will tell you, I want the CPP to hold. It's not because he want to use Bwaka numbers, the so-called numbers, but the fact is that when we unite ourselves, we will give George Weah a one term. But if we're not together, it will be a serious problem.
But that's what I'm argument. That's what I was talking about.
I will tell you today, Mr. So, we should be honest and point to people who causing the problem within the CPP. If they want to leave, we are not going anywhere. We sign that document. We agree they will go to court. They can leave us with the CPP and they can go wherever because there's a confirmed information that by December, and we pray it shouldn't happen. But there's a consequences behind these things. If you think that you just want to damage something or because somebody going to get a backlash from Liberian people, because the Eurotape is still there. I say, if anybody calls the breakup of CPP, go after us. We will not. This document, we stand by this document. But there is nothing in there that was done by Mr. Cummings. We understand his integrity is at stake and it hurts him a lot. Like what Mr. Bwaka said, and I agree with Mr. Josh, and I said it the other day, that's a warning to the other guy. Because there's picture of their video that you insulted Mr. Cummings and Mr. Bwaka over and over. You call him names. So that scar is still showing. So we just gotta be careful, especially those who have political ambition like the other guy. I'm not running for office, but we should be careful. Liberia is fresh, no matter what. I have criticized Mr. Cummings so many times.
How do we know you're not running for office? By the time you're going, you have 4 or 5 people together. The people say that you don't even campaign that here with audience. You're going to rather people to petition.
No, I am not. Listen, if it will ever happen in the future, yes, but for now, Mr. So, you know, I've been very consistent since 2017. I've been following Mr. Cummings. Nobody introduced him to me. I did my own research. That is why I know the depth. I know everything about Mr. Cummings because I read about him. And that's what I try to do.
Kishan, you're a strong voice within the ANC. You guys want to hire us?
For the convention?
I'm not doing anything free for politicians because you know what?
But you're listening.
No. You want my expertise? I provide the services. You pay me. I go.
You're a media man. You're a media man. You're not supposed to. You need.
I don't have money. We don't have
well,
money.
Anyway, you're right. You're 100% right. Because I agree with you. Like what you guys doing. Which is true. Most of these politicians, most of these groups need to at least make a donation. I understand. The software is expensive. Sometimes I get my own. I don't use it. I use Facebook all the time. I don't use all the other software, but I still paying every month. The internet, the time, and whatsoever expensive. I know that, but we're not getting anything from it. So
North Carolina.
That's the thing. You know, I bet you right now. Listen, excuse me. If anybody listening to my voice, please call Mr. So and make that donation and get your air ticket to go to North Carolina. All the ANC members, it can be whatsoever.
Guess what? Liberian politics, right?
Yes.
If you not put that bed on your back, at the end of the day, they get the people that throw that bed, I put it.
But you know, one thing I would say, Mr. So,
people need to understand the importance of media.
Yes.
They don't know it. They don't recognize it as if they
play a big role. They play a big role.
I don't talk about entertainment. No,
they play a big role. Seriously.
But you know, it is what.
No, Mr. So you guys play a very big role when it comes to Liberian, because that's the only place we get our news on the internet. That's the only place right now Liberian got the news. That's what sometimes we say.
I've been looking and say I will go get it.
So, Mr. So I will tell you again to everybody. I want to say thank you, Mr. Brown. I like you. You're consistent, man. Listen, I'm a liberal too now. I'm a liberal. I'm not a conservative guy. I'm a liberal. I believe in certain things, although I got a little bit of conservative attitude, but I believe in it. But I respect people for their views. I think we can disagree to agree. That's all we need to do. At the program, I was attacked by almost 5 because I asked that one question. They came to me. Oh, you came from all the way Jersey just to ask Mr. In fact, this guy who name I call the next day called me Swan, and he said 2 ANC guys. It was Anthony Gay asked this almost similar question, And me, he said, look at the two swine. You know, you insulting me, it make no difference. I don't care.
Yeah,
you know, but I said,
honestly, sometimes I kind of wonder, and that's where the messaging comes from. If I've decided to say I've supported Cummins, Boyka, or even the Weir, there will be a different narrative. Your goal when you say you're supporting somebody is to be persuasive. But out of your train tantrum,
yes, we got it.
Everybody get invested. Somebody says something on your train, I will block you. So how are you going to win people over when you want to block everybody, people who differ with you? So sometimes it kills your candidate message. And unfortunately, these people too, they're not even speaking to it. So, and when it happens, I will come to a conclusion, whatever Kishan does, Cummins approve it, because when Kishan is not doing the right thing, and he can't call Kishan attention, what does that suggest to me?
Yeah.
He endorses everything that is happening.
True. That's my fear.
Right,
you see, so before you close, if you notice, at the time I was like, I call myself roving ambassador. I could say anything I want to say. But now I have sat with this man. I have spoken to him. My face is out there. Then anything I come out and start to cross up, the next thing it goes on Mr. Cummins. That's why I tell my ANC people, you know, it's not that we're perfect. We got flaws. I was no problem. But we just need to slow down and give the message. But don't get me wrong. We will compare. We will compare Mr. Boyka because of the only two candidates. And before you leave again, Mr. So, I want you to take this here. Two parties are now putting up a candidate. Two parties putting up a candidate. The two parties looking for voters. It is our responsibility to go to the two other parties and get voters. Now you got Yombly and the other supporting the vice president. If Mr. Ability is supporting ANC, what is the problem? We need them. We need a support. So it can't be for you alone, because 2017,
I don't want us to relegate this thing. When I started here, Pa George said that, and this liberal here, his own liberal idea is so horrible. I told him, you know, in the time they said that old man can be the first person to go see the ugliness of the bamboo. Yeah. And now what? Darius Dillon, Nyombli Kangal Lauren, and you know, Benin, when you see him do a finger like that, you know that he read sporting. That's what they did exactly. And even Mr. Costa, Hera Costa, if I was in his position, I would have been the deal breaker. Yes. Because guess what? These people are going to look up to you because of your follow. But when you jump out and take a decision, then it settles the score. And that's exactly what happens. They should allow the process to play out. Listen to these people. These people, they will ever, Boyka and Cummins, they will ever have debate. They will have debate.
No, they don't want to. We talk about it every day. We talk about it. We propose it, Mr. Cummins. On your show, Mr. Cummins say yes.
Yeah,
who want to stand up? Yes. You say when you bring it up, they insult you. But listen, we'll just leave it the way they want to play. But the fact is that we're not going nowhere.
Gentlemen, let's leave it, guys.
All right.
So much.
We have the Liberian, these people, all the Liberian people. This election, the 2022 election, every presidential nominee, they will have to have a debate. Because that 2017 fiasco, the day that Joe, we are not going to go debate, the result that country debate. Right. This time, they will have to go to debate. The Liberian people will demand to go to a debate. They can sell their policy to the Liberian people.
Yes.
Thank you. So connect up with the organizer and see if they need our services. What we can do, we can do that. Even we can be here, and we were here, and we coordinated Boyka's town hall, so that's no big deal. We always want to go, but sometimes you have to add value to what you're doing. Liberian people, I've seen it. Sometimes you go MC their program. When they finish eating everything, they say, "Oh, my man, you not eat." I don't hear what I eat when I was talking about more running. Then you say, "I not eat."
They forget about you. They forget about you.
I told you not eat. You're right. Okay, gentlemen, have a pleasure.
Yeah, but so let me tell you this.
Thank you.
So let me tell you this. It will have two viewers. The two viewers will stay. Political party, those are organizations. They raise money. So if anybody wants to call the program, I'm
not going to do that. You can't go lose money to people for something. Oh, God will bless you. My man, you say go. My man, Avin say I should go for it. Pay me and wait. Let me go there.
And we want to raise. We try to see if we can raise $1 million.
Okay.
You see that?
Why you want to raise $1 million?
The convention of Christian are paying to go in.
They got convention fee now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can pay for the hall. They can pay for the DJ. Oh, but
Yes.
I'm a war by law from
Listen,
Rhode
Mr. So, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you.
We
This
will
is
have
what move politics all over. I agree with you 100% on that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
shouldn't be free. It
Even
shouldn't be
whatever
free
you do,
because,
they should pay you.
yeah,
Why you
it shouldn't
do
be
it, they should
free.
pay you. Kume
Yeah.
should pay you. What a guarantee that tomorrow when Kume is elected, say you will get a job.
But you said they must pay me. Oh, right now, people accusing me already.
Now, whether that business. If
They
I
said
decide to fight for anybody, we will
when
sign
I say
a
something, they
contract.
say, oh, but Mr.
We
Cummings
will
already
sign
gave
the
you the money.
contract. You break the contract, I blow a line on you. No, something
It's
that.
contract price. It's very
Gentlemen,
contract.
have
Let
a
me get out.
pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. So, for hosting me. Thank you, Mr. Josh, Mr. Brown.
Good night, folks.
All right, folks, that's how we're going to bring the curtain down this evening. The General, aka Money Kishen, joining us here on LPR Kishen. Thank you so much. The Liberal Progressive Empire Amos George. And to our valuable listeners, viewers, we want to thank you for sharing your beautiful, beautiful Wednesday evening. Your tweets, your comments are very helpful to the process as well. All right, my man. First of all, you message about me, Mika Boss. All right, buddy, TK and send it. Then we can talk that one. But I want to thank you so much. Keep your comments and tweets rolling. You have the right to differ with us, to disagree with us. We're not going to sanction your voice. We're not going to sanction your voices. We're not going to block you as long it is not against our own network policies in terms of certain language being deployed here. But you can disagree with me. You can say you honor cover on top of seditions, ANC, Unity Party. That's okay. That's your view. That's your opinion. We don't sanction that. We don't disagree. When we disagree, we argue it out and sort it. And I think that should be the hallmark of the political conversations in Liberia. Unfortunately, these people who profess to be the voices of these people, they just do not have that political tolerance. And this is why you see everything is going over the roof. And unfortunately, their political leaders' inability to contain, they're not even selling their message. Are they doing it for themselves? Is that an advertisement for themselves? No, I don't think that is right. Have a pleasant evening. By God's willing, we're going to be right back here. Thank you for your time. And that's how we're going to bring the curtain down here this evening.
They will,